Hockey is my passion. Listen, ask me again if I have seen or heard of Heated Rivalry. You want to know the answer to that, Jeri Lynn? The answer is that now, whether I'm on Facebook, whether I'm on Instagram, whether I'm just in real life, my whole algorithm is, you want to see this Heated Rivalry stuff? Hey, you want to see this meme about a heated rivalry? Hey, you want to buy this t-shirt about the cottage? Hey, you want to buy this t-shirt about a stupid wolf bird? Hey, you want to buy this thing? Hey, look at this real life hockey fight. You think they were talking about room numbers?
And you know what's so funny is we had no idea when we posted that clip that
people are so invested in me. Period. Thank you.
I think this is what our country needs right now. So this is what we need. I guess we've done bonus episodes before. We did one for Samhain. Now,
true. And now
hard left turn.
We're doing one for gay hockey.
Naturally, as one does, the pipeline from Samhain to Heated Rivalry.
Listen, we're gonna jump in. This is how we're gonna do it.
Let's go. We're just gonna hop right in.
I want to be very clear here that I am a queer woman reviewing gay hockey. I think that's important to preface this whole conversation.
Yes.
HBO has always been the place to see the bare butts and the nuts, okay? It's always been what it is. I'm just going to give you kind of a play-by-play. Honestly, you got a play-by-play in real life, and this is part of why my algorithm is so fucked now. Actually, no.
Text messages.
My algorithm is blessed now. Because I was texting Jeri every, 2.5 minutes?
And you know what's so funny is I did actually sit in my car at one point waiting because I knew what was coming next, and it was so fun because you were texting me, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna flip out, and it's just like the next 3 minutes if I could just hang on for a second until she gets to this scene, and you did, and it was so exciting. It was like it was happening all over again for me.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
Watching this, something in my brain went, this is how all the Twilight girlies felt. This is how my best friend felt watching Twilight and whispering in my ear like, it was different in the books. Like, that was the energy. I never understood the Team Edward shirts. I'm watching this show and I'm going, I have never rooted so hard for two people that aren't even real.
I know.
You want to, Kip and Scott, listen, I understand that they were parallel as important, but not necessarily the main thing.
We've got a Kip and Scott fan on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
I want a whole spin-off show. I want a whole book series. I want Kip
you
and
do
Scott.
know that the entire first book of Heated Rivalry, you already already a pro.
I know it all. But I was okay.
Yeah, where do we start? Okay.
Let me first say that my homework assignment from you was just watch 2 episodes. And I'm going to be honest with you that I was like, fine, homework. Yeah. Because what I like to do when my day is over is I watch 3 to 4 episodes of Criminal Minds and I go to bed.
Such a good nightcap.
Yeah, super healthy for my dreams and my sleep, right? But that's my comfort show.
Yep.
And
it's predictable. There's an algorithm. And you do know why I said 2 episodes.
Because you knew that I was going to go way harder than that? First of all, I saw that there were 6 and I went, okay, I can do this.
6 episodes. Oh
I
my
can do
god.
anything for 6 hours. Okay, so I watched the first 2, but as I'm watching the first one, I'm thinking in my brain okay, there's a lot of timelining happening.
So much.
And I at first was like, I don't like this. I feel like I have to calculate. I feel like I have to figure it out. But then I very quickly was like, oh, I just need to understand that significant portions of time are passing. That's literally the only thing that matters. And so I was fine. I got over that. But I am watching this and I am going, the chemistry is chemistrying.
Did they not, the way that they could not have any more perfectly. There was no more perfect of a union
No
for
notes.
casting. Yeah.
No notes across the board.
Yeah.
And okay. There was a lot of like younger me, and not like little me, but younger me coming up as I'm watching this.
Yes.
Because the first thing that I went to was, I remember very distinctly in middle school, talking or hearing from one of my friends talking about probably an HBO movie, but how like sex scenes in movies are real. Like they're actually having sex. And I can remember even as a kid being like, no, no, they're not. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'm going, I mean, honestly, like, they might just be fucking. And
I got that text message from you about the intimacy coordinator, and I was like, oh, yeah, like the best intimacy coordinator ever.
I texted
Talk
Jeri
about job
and
security.
I texted Jeri and I said, I think the intimacy coordinator may have blushed on set. That's all I'm saying.
She's incredible.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was my first thought, was like, this might be real, and I'm okay with that. You know, everybody, it's cool, do whatever. But then my follow-on thought is, I thought about the first time I told my mom that I was in a serious relationship with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, well, she said, I mean, what's, like, is the sex even good? I mean, I've seen Orange is the New Black. And I'm watching this show and I'm thinking, a whole generation of young men, they're going to tell their moms that they're gay, and their moms are going to say, well, I mean, I've seen Heated Rivalry. But I think the difference is that they would be like, and I get it.
That's exactly what I was saying. And you know what? Honey, if you weren't, I'd be concerned.
I really did. I just kept thinking that in my brain of like, what I had was either the L word, which my mom definitely was not consuming, or Orange is the New Black, which is a very niche sort of world of like lesbian intimacy.
So niche. And so like, just so much aggression in that show.
Yeah, I mean, hello. And so, so I was like, this opens up a door, right, for conversations. And that viewpoint definitely kind of cracked me up.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about how, I mean, that was one thing that, I mean, it's so healing, you know. You and I both have our own experiences sharing. By the way, I'm also this is a queer girlies podcast for those of you who didn't already know that. But you and I were talking about how healing this is too. It's like to watch and to see the way that Shane's parents received. I cried, girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It like, you know, makes me emotional now just thinking about it.
I was about to say, do you know what else though, like right now makes me feel that I could go ahead and like cry a lot for you? When Kip went back to his dad's house and he just walked in and he just cried. And his sweet baby daddy just gave him a big hug and was like, my boy.
And just held him. I was like, this is the most, between the way that the parents respond to their queerness and the way that the women are portrayed. Because it's so funny, the way you would text me about like a certain character, it was the same exact reaction I had. And then slowly, I felt like I was dismantled. Like the tension or my initial ingrained biases and my gut reaction based off of pattern recognition in other media is like you already are defending your emotional self from what these characters might do to you and how they might disappoint you. And all of them just came through again and again and again. And I was like, wow, this really is so beautiful.
And I think as someone who has definitely experienced the stereotyping and the fetishization of being bisexual, I guess if we're labeling like in that sort of way, to have a bisexual character where it was never about like let's bring on another one or let's do this or let's have just like a big group thing. It was always the fact that if he couldn't be with this one person, he felt incomplete. It wasn't let's make a show of it or let's explore all these other areas or like let's put it on display in any sort of other way. It was just this, it was just fact, which is I think how it should be of yes, I have the capacity to love any type of person and I want this person.
Yeah.
Which is like to me so like so obvious.
Yeah.
But I think to have it represented in that way of like we're not doing anything gross here. We're not trying to make any other storyline. We're not trying to make him any other way other than just human with preferences. And to your point though too, to see queer women, which I would identify like his best friend, right? Svetlana. And the fact that I think she probably was very fluid in a lot of ways too, but she was just about like at the end of the day, I love you and I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
That's it. You know?
Yeah.
And Kip's best friend saying you deserve sunshine. And well, like he deserves sunshine and so do you. I just quiet tears. Just like, yeah, you do. You do.
I know. When Svetlana turns to him when they're in the back of that, it's like that part, they're like kind of like in that parlor space.
I hope Lily knows how lucky she is or whatever.
He is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is so good. What was the turning point for you when you started feeling like you were starting to like come? It's like this unbinding. Like I felt like over time I was like I was like relaxing into the show. Do you know? Like you start off like this and kind of holding on to everything, and then it just kind of dismantles. What do you feel like was your?
I think when my heart chakra really started cracking open was when he texted and said, we didn't even kiss.
Yeah.
And then just one letter at a time backspaced it.
And he like has his head like up against, ugh.
That really broke me into pieces because
yeah,
I was like, oh, we've all been there where we're in this place of like, I think we're on the same page no matter how complicated it is. And then you realize like, uh-oh, we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we are though. But you know they were. But
we're like processing different timelines.
Yes, we're like in the thick of it, you know. At any given point in time, one of our attachment issues can really like strike and just really kill the whole thing.
Yeah, but I really like fully lost my mind when
I know you're gonna say.
when he brought Kip onto the ice, because that's when I fully lost my mind, because the whole time I was just like,
yeah,
guys, just love each other, just do it, and because when he was in the crowd at all, I was like, yeah, Kip, that's awesome, that's gotta be really hard for you. And then he's looking around and he's alone, and I was like, no one should be alone. And I'm just like watching it again, I'm like, it's cool. It's not real. It's not even real. These are not real people. And then I was like, but he looked at him, and then he came down and he brought him on the ice, and I was like, yes. And how like it was just received like, oh wow, crazy night for hockey.
Yeah. The way that those scenes are filmed is so. That's the other thing, is like obviously the way that it's so intimate. Like the filming is so intimate, the music is so good. Like obviously everything makes it what it is. And those pans across the whole, right, like while they're sitting and watching what's happening, and it's just like everyone's like weighted like waiting and just like holding their breath. It's just so good.
Yeah, and like what's happening, and then I'm coming to the cottage. And okay, something that I noticed that I think is very clever, because I'm an old lady and I always have to have closed captions. So I always see the lyrics of words too. Was like all the songs were very intentional. And obviously, I'm sure the first one that everyone thinks of is All the Things She Said by Tattooed. But I'm not sure if you're aware of the history of that band, but they are, I believe, Russian. And it was two girls, and they were not gay, but their manager wanted them to present gay.
Yes, for literally to use them, to fetishize them. Yeah.
So that song is such a sort of cultural, iconic song, especially in the gay community. And shout out to Poppy, who does a really great cover of it. But I thought that was really clever, because it was such a sort of double entendre, right? Of like, yeah, we know that it's about like being gay and how challenging it can be to be gay loudly or publicly or just casually. And at the same time, the people that are singing it are having to pretend to be a way they're not, just in the reverse. And so I got really caught up there too, which maybe wasn't necessarily intended, but I was just like,
no, I think it was. I really do think that. I don't think that anything is by accident. I think that they're so incredibly intentional with all of this, and I don't think that I actually was reading some of the comments on our post, and someone said that they watched it like in a different language. Maybe it was Portuguese. I can't remember exactly, and I thought, oh, how cool would it be to rewatch this in different languages if I spoke different languages, because of the, just like the different like interpretations, even the way that Ilya speaks in Russian. I would love to like know Russian and really like better. I mean, you can obviously tell. I mean, there's just so many things I could say about that, but his long drawn out, it's not drawn out, his long, what's the right word? Monologue, where he's speaking to Shane on the phone.
Yeah. And I thought that was such a clever sort of kind of fantasy realization too, because I think so many people watching that, and maybe it's just me, I don't know, you can tell me, but I think we've all been in situations like that where we wish that we could just talk to the person that we're really longing for and say like, just say it.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't even understand what you're saying, but I just need you to say something and let me know that you're feeling something, because I am feeling something. And I thought that was such a smart way to do it, that showed so many things, right? Like it showed finally what he was really feeling, but it also showed Shane being so willing to still not know, while still like making space for all these feelings and all these things. But oh my God, I mean, I don't know, it was just so much of it also was this weird nostalgia for me, because when they first woke up together that morning in the cottage, I can remember the first time I spent the night with the first girl that I ever fell in love with. And I didn't sleep all night long. I didn't sleep at all. All I did was lay there and write poems, because I was just like, this is amazing. Like that was it. And I woke up the next morning, it was the same thing of just like, oh my God, like it's happening, right? Like we're here, and nothing happened. We never did anything. That's a whole other conversation. But like, but that experience was enough to be like, something, something more than just assumptions or hopes or maybes.
It's so good. I'm like recognizing too in real time that you and I have never explicitly talked about like queerness and like our own.
No.
Isn't that wild?
I think it's so funny, but I think it also speaks to like, you and I are so close and so connected, and I've always said that you're one of the few people that like I could live with, I could coexist with, and I think it's because you and I have shared a lot of things in an unspoken sort of like ancestral way.
We've just like moved alongside of each other through time.
Yeah.
And it was never like I even remember you, and we can, whether we want to keep this in or not, whatever, it might feel too intimate, I don't know, but I remember you looking at me for the first time and saying, yeah, I have to, yeah, I'm dating a woman. And the way
That I did eventually marry, for anyone who's wondering.
Yeah.
If anyone's like, we've all dated a woman. Yeah,
Like,
well, make it legal. Prove it.
Prove it. I just remember the level of, I was so ecstatic and so excited, and I didn't even acknowledge my own queerness at the time. So in hindsight, looking back on that and being like, oh, I never even like thought it was, so for me to have come from a place of being raised where it's like this cardinal sin, you know, like you're gonna burn in hell, you know, like that, all of this stuff. I was so ecstatic and excited for you, and it's so funny because I'm like, oh, it's just always been that way. Like there was nothing.
Because it's not, it shouldn't be
No.
special or unique. Because if a straight person comes to you and is like dating someone, you wouldn't be like,
Oh my God.
what?
Yeah, right.
Outside of, you know, obviously if it's like, you know, someone they've really cared about or whatever. But the idea of it shouldn't be novel. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, that's crazy. What's it like? Because no one would ask that. And that's why it bothers me when people treat it like it's this thing to be observed. Mm-hmm. But I think, too, part of that is that you and I never had that conversation because I wasn't in a reality where it felt welcoming and safe to do that. Mm-hmm. It was a very emotional time of like, my dad is dying and then dies. And
You told me at his funeral. I remember.
yeah, see, and I don't remember any of that. Not at all. But because when I met my ex-wife, spoiler alert, we did get divorced.
Yeah, I guess that's important to also know.
But we are still friends, so prove it. But
the ultimate queer relationship.
Listen.
We're still friends.
we're still friends. That's a whole, oh my God. That's a whole other podcast that we could have, is like Heather learns to be gay and what that comes with. Because I was like, what do you mean I just met your ex-girlfriend and you said that this is your best friend you're introducing me to? Sorry, what? Huh? What do you mean? Anyway, so, when I met her, I was singing at a gig that my dad was at. And so he saw her and witnessed her because I pulled her and her family up on stage, but they never met. And then when things went so south, she was living in Orlando when I was in Georgia. And once he got really sick, he never woke up again. And so it wasn't like they had an opportunity.
Right.
But when I had first told, because I told Jeri, I was like, I tried to come out a couple times and I just kept being told no. Like,
It's just just back up a little bit. Okay, we're just gonna shut the door. Okay.
yeah. And so the last and final time that I tried to say like, hey, this is like a real actual thing happening, I was just told like, well, you could never tell your dad. And so kind of from that moment on to then when I met her and this whole thing, it was like, well, that's obviously nowhere on my mind to be like, hey, let me go and talk about it with anybody. And so ultimately, you know, after all of that happened, I moved to Orlando. And so it was just sort of this, I don't know, it felt very compartmentalized, right? Of like, okay, all of that and all the things that could have been, or all the conversations that could have been, just went over here. And then my life paused there and resumed elsewhere. And I think it's interesting because I have a couple friends that I feel very strongly don't see me as a divorced woman.
Wow.
Like, I think that they just don't count it as real. And that's their own trauma, that's their own stuff. But I do really feel like in their mind, in their world, it was sort of like, oh, that's just Heather. Not like that's a serious thing that traumatized her in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And same thing with a lot of the stuff that went down in that marriage is stuff that I've had to work really hard through in therapy. And so when I go on dates with men, right, where they say, when I finally tell them, because it's not like a first date opener, and they fetishize it.
Yeah.
Right? Where they're like, oh. I had one guy tell me one time, I already thought you were attractive, but when you told me you had been with a woman, I was like, and he sent a tongue out emoji.
Gag.
And I told him, I was like, hey, that's gross. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was the whole thing. But then on the other side of that, I also have gone on dates with lesbians that have been like, I didn't actually believe that you were gay, but when you mentioned you had an ex-wife, I was like, oh, okay. So I've always felt like I just I don't belong in either space, where I'm just sort of in this little bisexual box of like, you're not real in either world. And so I think that that's a big part too of why watching this, I was like, yeah, see how it's just a thing that exists?
Yes, it's never the only way that it's received is that, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is, and I hear you and I see you and I receive it, and that's okay. And it's like, it is that, and that's the grief of it all. I'm sure there's so many people who have watched this that are different, oh my God, different gender identities, different sexualities, different, across the board, across the spectrum, you can get something from it no matter what you identify as or who you are. And it's for folks who have complicated relationships with their parents, for folks who have complicated relationships with their own sexual identities and, their sexuality, and it's just it's a different texture for like your grief is the best way I know how to put it, because it's simultaneously it's one of those things just like good friendship, and just like like knowing when someone really receives you as a person, it feels so good, and at the same time it's like, and it was this simple the whole time.
Well, and I've tried to kind of finesse my explanation over the years of like, I have the capacity to love a man or a woman, but my preference tends to be men. Because to me, I'm like, okay, I think that's a neat and tidy enough way to explain that I mostly date men, but I definitely can be attracted enough to a woman to date seriously or marry them, right? And even then, I still get looks of like, nope. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not saying that everyone should be able to hear that and go like, oh my God, that resonates 100%. But I also am a little frustrated that I'm even in a timeline where I have to come up with a way to explain it in a neat and tidy bow like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, hi, I exist and I have exes just like you and they might look different.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's just so easy.
Yeah. But I don't know. And when his dad showed up at the cottage and drove away.
Is that not the most sickening feeling ever? Like and of course the whole time, I don't know if you felt like this, but I was kind of like, ooh, is it gonna happen? Like, he didn't tell us. Like, I was kind of like, ooh, is it, are they safe? Is it okay? And like, it kind of like, I was like, okay, maybe we're good, it's like, we're chilling. And they picked it was the perfect timing. It was like right whenever I had forgotten about the fact that his parents
and I was so
might
nervous.
I know.
I was so nervous when he drove off. Oh my gosh, I was so upset. And then when things were okay, but I was panicking, and I
lovers.
Really,
you texted me and you said lovers.
I really appreciated too that they took the time to put into the script when he goes out and his mom's kind of like emotional and having her little like fresh air moment.
Yeah.
And he apologizes to her, because I think any of us watching the show have most likely been in a place where we felt the need to apologize for who we are.
Yeah.
And that she made sure to look at him with such sincerity and say, You don't owe me any apology. I know. I'm like emotional. But she said, I'm sorry that you felt like you couldn't tell me.
Yeah.
And that, I think, it's just, I think there's so many moments in this show that for the first time I really not just sympathize but empathize with that ask for representation in media, because it's like, oh, this is what it feels to see yourself reflected on a TV screen. Like that's the feeling of, oh, we've all felt these really, really, really like gut-wrenching, terrible, awkward, awful moments. And then we've all survived them. But it's so good. And tonight I texted Jeri and I said, I made myself a little Heated Rivalry cocktail.
Oh yeah,
I've
tell
got
us
some
about
Russian
it. It's so
vodka,
good.
some Canadian ginger ale, and I put 2 big balls of ice in there. And it was a delight. It was a delight.
It looked super yummy. We'll have to post a picture of it because it was super cute. I was like, what a good idea.
But now, for anyone listening, now that you finally know that I've watched it, I am obsessed. I'm sending Jeri shirts that I'm like, can we get these Heated Rivalry shirts? Now that I'm a super fan, Jeri has let me know that she's never watched The L Word.
I have never watched The L Word. I think it is partially like self-preservation.
Do you don't understand. Okay, let me be very clear before anyone comes at me in the comments. We're talking about 2 entirely different species of show.
Right.
The L Word, still very much about the gays and theys, okay?
Right.
But in a way where it's like watching Sex in the City, but gay. Whereas Heated Rivalry is like watching Mr. Rogers, but gay, right? Where it's like, oh, this healed parts of me, and there just happen to be a lot of porn in it. The L Word is like, oh, I'm fully invested in this, and I need someone that understands it. So you and I are going to watch the L Word together.
That sounds perfect.
It's going to be great.
I need some support, some emotional support.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna. I'm excited. But yeah, so I'm. There.
So what's
there are my feelings.
So it's so funny because we obviously are not. We didn't wait 2 weeks, as you all listening know, because
I also watched the whole thing. I didn't just watch 2 episodes and go, okay, I'll have a little opinion. I watched 6 episodes and texted Jeri and said, when is season 2?
Yeah, when is it happening? It's funny because I kind of expected you to watch it in rapid succession, but then another part of me was like, and she has a life. She's, has a...
Hockey is my life.
Hockey is my life. I need you to know that for the whole month of December, my vocal stem was okay. Anytime, okay. Hollander. Okay.
Hollander.
I haven't watched it in a few weeks. I gotta get the right twang back.
But that was the thing too. The moment that he said Shane, I did what Shane did, and I went, he said his first name. And then when Shane was like, I have to go, and I was like, you gotta go. Abort.
Yeah, I know. They're so good at like. I think another thing of something, I guess, initial sensations and feelings when I first watched it too were like watching men be so affectionate.
I'm sorry,
whether they're gay,
put
straight,
another man on a countertop is my new favorite thing.
Girl,
I'm like that.
He locked his ankles around his back. I said, rewind, play. I was like, who do I want to be more in this situation? I don't know. I can't tell.
And you know what? For any straight women watching this, let that be a reminder to you not to be insecure, because I know as a woman, I have often thought, what if I'm too heavy? What if I'm not pick-upable? Listen, these men throwing each other around, girl, if he's not picking you up, he don't want to.
It's a mental thing. He can. It's a will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay?
And where there's a Kip, there's a way. And where there's a Shane, there's a way.
Oh my God, yeah. Have you watched any interviews yet of the cast?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I've seen all their magazine interviews behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I've seen yep, everything, all the things. Yep. That's how I texted you and was like, hold up, he learned Russian in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible.
It was crazy. He just Connor Story just did SNL. I don't know if you saw that.
I watched every episode, every skit. Don't you worry about it.
That's so funny. I haven't even watched it yet. You beat me.
Well, what's funny is that I watched one of the first skits before I knew who he was, and I literally was like, who is this guest? Cut to, by the end of the week, I was like, hold on, let me go watch all the rest of those, because now I know who he is.
With Gritty on your shoulder.
That's why he's so happy. He's like, I loved it. I loved it.
Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, I was really excited for you to watch it for multiple reasons. And I'm just, as you know, as you saw in a lot of the comments, a lot of people posting about it, it's like everybody watches it more than once.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes.
It's only 6 episodes. Who did you identify with more from your perspective?
Scott.
Heather's been burying the lead here.
Scott.
Everybody, I'm telling you, the first, I would say, when did you text me and say Team Kip and Scott? And I was like, oh, this is so funny. Yeah, I was like, this was so good. You texted me and you said, Scott has got to be gay. He's too intuitive about all of this. And I was like,
I said he's like too empathetic.
Empathetic, yeah, he's intuitive. I was like, oh my God, this is so fun to get your text messages in real time.
Well, let me tell you, I'll give you a little anecdote, and I know we got to wrap it up here, but one of the first reasons that I was like, I am Scott, Scott is me, is because when he went to the smoothie place the bajillionth time and was like, do you mind if I like check my emails? Let me just, okay. First of all, we have all done those things where we're like, how can I just be in the air of my crush,
the
right?
Presence,
how can I just breathe their oxygen in a way that's not oppressive or harassing, but like, don't forget I exist. Here I am.
As I position myself a certain way for your observation pleasure.
The first woman that I fell head over heels in love with, super, super tragic love story there, worked at a coffee shop in Redacted in Blue Ridge. And I drove an hour as often as possible and just hung out.
Stop, that's so funny. I didn't know that.
I have so many stories to tell you, and I will when we're together. But
in T-minus 2.5 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, like 13 days or something. I would go and I would sit and she would make me a coffee and I would, snack or whatever, and I would bring my laptop. I think at that point in time I was working for the newspaper maybe, and I would write my articles and I just existed, and on the off chance that like maybe we'd hang out a little bit after, and that was fine. And so when he was like, do you mind if I just like check my emails? And he's sitting in this empty smoothie place doing that just to hang out. I was like, oh, Scott. Oh, Scott. Yes.
That's kind of too. That's like the most. That's pretty freaking parallel.
Yeah, you want to talk about who I relate to? It's the one living my same life. Yeah.
And he's running. He like pushes himself. He's
Same.
like really, yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
am
totally see
also
that.
a
Makes
really
sense.
successful, washed-up hockey player. People are like, "Oh, he's so old."
Poor Scott. He got so much shit.
And I mean, gosh, such handsome people.
I know. They're also handsome. They're also beautiful in their own ways. Everybody's just so gorgeous. They did such a good job.
The only thing that I did not like, and I texted you
yeah.
this, and I
Tell
said,
me.
I understand that it's a metaphor.
Oh, I don't actually know what you're saying. What you're talking
All the windows at the cottage so many windows, and I understand, or I'm assuming it's probably supposed to be a metaphor of like transparency and the visibility and not hiding anymore, even though it's in this private place or whatever. As soon as they pulled up to that cottage, I was like, the amount of Windex that you would have to supply and the frequency in which you would need to be cleaning these
Heather,
windows.
but you gotta remember that you don't have to be cleaning it. You can ethically pay someone a livable wage to wash your windows for you.
That person still has to clean them. The fact that they exist, I was like, oh my God.
I mean, it is so funny. That's like, I want a house. I feel like that house is a dream house because it's like, I want to feel like I'm sleeping outside, but I don't have to sleep outside. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I want that on like half of the house. I need the other half to be no windows.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like this, it's so cool over time. I'm sure you've seen these clips, and everyone I'm sure listening has seen these clips as well of the, over time. At first they're like covering the windows, and then then it's like, okay, then now we're, it's like increasingly more and more, I guess, transparent, for lack of a better way to put it. It's like, okay, then we're like, we don't have to hide here. I love the way that he like tosses the remote over his shoulder, and he's like so playful, and it's so good. And like their playfulness too is like such a relief. Like to see queer joy depicted that way. It's just so, and I know we talked about the scene with Rose too, where she was like talking to Shane and telling, like, I was like, wow, the way that I wish I could have had that conversation with a few people in my life that I've dated. Like, listen, it's so good. So there's Heather's review, ladies and gentlemen.
So there it is. I watched it, and whoever that person was in the comments saying that they would vacuum and do my dishes and whatever and watch my child so that I could watch it, where are you?
Hello.
Where did you go?
Hello. They'll have to do that when you read all the books. Because
Perfect.
Obviously, you have to read all the books. I
should do them all on audiobook, and that'll be what I start doing my runs to. Just be running and panting.
Pavlovian your way into loving running even more.
Yeah.
All right, it's been a pleasure. Gritty, I'm so glad you joined us for this episode. Go tell our hockey guys we said hi.
Yeah, go make them exchange room numbers with each other. All right.
All right, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.